81% of Black women in America are clinically overweight, clinically obese. And when I first heard these statistics, I thought it was like an over exaggeration and a joke. I really didn't believe that things are this bad. Like, I belong to the 20% of Black African American women who are healthy. So much so that my weight class would be considered an anomaly because of my culture. So, what did I do differently that other women need to start doing and have not done that has put me apart from the majority of women in my culture? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for joining me. We're going to be having a very, very tough conversation. Huh. Hard. This is the Black female experience as we know it, and we will be discussing now body. Brace yourself. It's going to get real, real colorful. So I am trying to pull up right now my statistics of the Black female obesity rate. Now, when someone is obese, there is overweight and then there is obese. All right. Obese means that you are way over the overweight mark, so to speak, which means that there are way more health risks involved in the way more health risks involved in your foreseeable health future. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really trying to make this happen, and it's moving extremely slowly, and it's really getting to my nerves. Anyways, so one of the issues that right, so one of the issues that I have with this is because I'm really concerned about what is the imaging behind this. Your health, your body is one of the most important aspects of your quality of life. And I want to add a few anecdotal phrases, if you may, and really discuss some of the things that are a part of this issue in as much detail, so much so that this might be a two-part series of a three-part trilogy that I'm doing called Mind, Body, Soul, the Black Female Experience. If you're tuning in here for the first time, my name is Nehanehino Helmker, and I discuss things about better life and art and culture. I'm a life coach and a teacher. I have worked various places all over the world with various well-known people and diplomatic bodies. One of the aspects of my jobs that I used to have when I was working with youth was a health component. And when it came to the health aspect, this was in Belize, of course, it's in Central America. If you guys don't know where Belize is, it's just south of Mexico. And the reason I mention Belize in the context of this conversation of Black female health is because we do have Black females, people of Black African descent in Belize, of which a large amount of them are influenced by African American culture because a large amount of our people live in America. There is a running joke that is, if everybody from Belize had to come home from America, Belize would be overpopulated. That's how many Belizeans we have in America at the moment. And that's why I have an accent, because I also grew up in America. Why it is that I don't have this overweight issue in my life, we will also be discussing. But I just wanted to talk about the Office of Minority Health reports as it was done in 2018, because this has been a running issue that 4 out of 5 African American women are overweight or obese. That is a very, very critical mass situation. Now, if you want to discuss what it means to be obese or overweight. It means that your body mass index is over 30 or higher. Your body mass index determines how much fat you have on every part of your body, right? And so that is done by height and age. So I am 40 years old. My body mass index is supposed to be 1.4 or something like that. I don't know. But for my height and age, I should weigh 135 pounds. At current, I am 125 pounds, which is still healthy. And I'm not going to be discussing all of what I've done, not done, blah, blah, blah. But so if your body mass index is supposed to be over 30, right? 25 or greater, that means that you are, instead of weighing 135 pounds at 5'5", I'm 5'5", these women weigh 200 pounds, upwards of 160 pounds, like you're pushing 200 pounds. If you can imagine what that would look like my husband is 6'3". He weighs 189 pounds on a light day. And he's a pretty big guy. He's not lean, but he's also not like fat either. He's perfect for his body mass index. He's a very heavy guy. If I weighed what he weighed, I would be ginormous. And this is one of the plaguing issues of females, Black African American women, specifically women in the United States of America. And I am curious to see, as more people migrate from African countries to Europe, what those statistics are going to show, because what we have seen in Belize is as more people migrate to America and move back or have the American lifestyle experience, we are seeing more African people of Black African descent, mainly being the Creoles and the Garifuna, have the same weight issue. And this includes, when we talk about weight issues, we are talking about things like diabetes. Now, just so that I'm clear, because I've listened to a couple of podcasts and a couple of healthcare providers in America talk about this issue, giving a lot of misinformation. But I'm going to talk a little bit about body and image and culture. A couple of the issues is that lifestyle choices do not necessarily promote healthy living in our women because of this. Let me see if I'm on track here, because I don't want to. Yes, because of the hair. All right, that's going to be my first issue. The hair has got to go, ladies. It has got to go. Either you learn to do your own hair so that you can have it washed and cleaned properly, regularly. And I know a lot of us, shout out to all the Black women who have been making YouTube videos about their hair and um, hair upkeep. I've seen some amazing women do some amazing things with the hair upkeep. I feel like when I cut all my hair off after the last permisode, that was 35 years ago. Yes, this is not online. I change it up from time to time, but I learned how to do my hair when I was 11 years old, and it was one of the most financially liberating experiences of my life, because I was then able to be in control of how, when, where, and why I needed to do my hair. Before that, when I did a perm, you can always, a relaxer, so to speak, you can always get like these relaxers done, but you want to get it done professionally so you don't burn scalps in your head. And then upkeep in between, touch ups was just too much. And at the age of 15, I just decided I wasn't going to do this anymore. This was just too much work for my little brain to manage. And plus, I had to like go on the other side of the country because I didn't want anybody doing my hair. I wanted one specific person to do my hair, and I just couldn't afford that life. I wasn't about that. And that, because I was a very sporty person, that was a huge hindrance in my lifestyle. Now, I'm going to speak facts. People are going to hate, people are going to disagree. That's okay. Fact. When you have that gunk in your hair and you sweat and you just spend however many hundreds of dollars to get it frizz controlled and to get it to look sleek and like Marisol or like Becky, and then you go for a run and then you're all of a sudden ludicrous or Angela Davis from Black Panther, which is not a bad thing, then you got to carry that until your next appointment or got to figure it out, in between. And so it was not conducive to the kind of lifestyle that I wanted, which was a healthy athletic lifestyle. So I shaved my head bald. At that point, it was like this long, y'all. It was amazing. You know, I let someone local relax it, and some of it started to fall out because she put it in for too long. And then it was downhill from there. So I told my mom, get the razors, get the scissors, and just cut it all off. And well, I look cute with a bald head, so I wasn't really concerned about that. But the reception that I got from, all of the Marisols and Carmitas and Carlitas in my community was very, very negative and very disruptive to my self-esteem. But I carried it out. I just, nobody was gonna say anything to my face because I was kind of scary. This was just at the beginning of the whole like racial, you don't want to say anything against people's race and whatever their culture. So no one would say anything to my face. There were a couple of boys who shout out to them, came back later in our adult years and apologized. And, you know, interestingly enough, it had a lot to do with the fact that my accepting my Africanness was very uncomfortable for them accepting their Africanness. And it was sort of like they were kind of hiding out, and, me embracing who I was made them uncomfortable because they had not done that. And so we had a really nice, uncovering. I would have really loved it earlier, but yeah, so we just dealt with that. So I was able to continue my athletic career in, running and walking and swimming. I love swimming. And with that gunk in your head, you just can't. I mean, swimming is a very invigorating, vigorous exercise that exercises muscles that you don't even know that you have. And Black women are not about to get that $300 and up hairdo wet up all the days of their lives, and that's what's at stake. You want to look cute or you want to actually be cute, because this is a huge sacrifice for the rest of you. And I think that that is one of the first issues with our physical health, is that if we need to choose between our physical health and the hairstyles that we have invested so much money in, it seems like a really dumb investment when we consider that that money could be spent to buy better food to help us lose the weight, or maybe join a gym, or maybe like, do some cute natural styles, or even go into the kitchen and use some natural products to make for your hair so you don't have to buy all these things to maintain something that isn't actually naturally yours. Like, our men don't care. We look better with our natural hair. Um, and so that is a huge blockage right there, is the hair, the hair, the hair, the hair. Now I know everybody don't have that. I don't even know what the grading system is. 4C, 3A, whatever it is, nobody had that good curl. Some of us have to work a little harder. Some of us have to, be a little more creative. It will do us a great service in the long run if we just let that be a no-brainer. Like, let that not be the thing that stops us from getting out there and going on the running track and doing the exercises that we need to maintain our health. Because that is one of the issues that has come up, is that culturally speaking, Black women don't want to be running out in the streets sweating out these perms and sweating out these blowouts and sweating out these weaves that they have spent so much money investing in. Plus, the other thing is chemically speaking, these things are extremely bad for us. You're putting this cyanide into your scalp, which is seeping into your brain and making you a little bit crazy. I don't know, guys. I'm winging it at this point. I've stopped looking at my notes. I don't know if that's actually happening, but I do know that when I was pregnant, I had to be advised not to continue relaxing my hair because it was dangerous to the baby's health. And that was like a big hysteric for me. Like, okay, this is probably not something I should be using anyways because it's damaging my health. Now, let's get into some statistics, shall we? According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, diabetes is a chronic, long-lasting health condition that affects how your body turns food into energy. Your body breaks down most of the food you eat into sugar, glucose, and releases it into your bloodstream. When your blood sugar goes up, it signals the pancreas to release insulin. Insulin acts like a key to let the blood sugar into your body cells for these as energy. When you have diabetes, um, your body doesn't make enough insulin and cannot use it well when it should. Now, diabetes can cause a series of issues like vision loss, kidney loss. Um, it makes losing weight difficult, but people usually get diabetes from having too much weight issues. Now, I'm not saying that weight is the only fat people get diabetes or only fat people get hypertension or only, no, there are a lot of people who have a seemingly in check weight, but they still suffer with these illnesses. But for the majority of us, most of us who have these issues, and I'm not saying that you can't live a healthy life if you have diabetes or if you have hypertension, but you are supposed to be extremely, even more so, cognizant of the things that you eat and the kind of lifestyle that you have, because these things can make life very difficult. And very, very interestingly enough, we are living in a time where we have an abundance of food, yet the food that we have is as a direct result of the kind of investments that we make in said food, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like the poorer people are, the fatter they are. I mean, your weight is as a direct result of the kinds of unhealthy, unnourishing, cheap food that you eat. Yet you're running around with a 400, 500, $600, $1,000 weed in some cases with too much weight on your body. Now, these things are extremely important to our well-being, and so this is the thing that I really want to take really clear stock of. As it was being brought to my attention, when it comes to the female mother mortality rate, that means the amount of women who make it out of pregnancies alive in our communities is on an all-time low. And there is a lot of discussion about whether or not that is because of systematic racism within the hospital systems or because we have such poor health that when we do get pregnant, we are at high risk for having difficult pregnancies because of all of the long laundry list of preventable diseases that we're suffering from. Now, pregnancy is a natural occurrence, a part of human nature if you're female. And when we go through it, it's supposed to be one of the most joyous times of our lives. But one of the things a few things that I want to mention when it comes to pregnancy and all of the different um, variables that are in concern specifically when it comes to women of Black African descent is that we are having children later. So we're not necessarily as fit as we should be when we are getting pregnant. The second thing that I wanted us to pay attention to is again the food. The food, ladies, the food is killing us. Our stress levels are extremely high because of the lifestyles that we lead. And I can do a segment just on that when it comes to body health and wellness, is that we make our lives very difficult for ourselves. There are loads and loads and loads of reasons why women of Black African descent are carrying way more stress than our white counterparts. Too much to list, but these things are all a part of the global narrative that we need to start to actively take responsibility in changing now. Now, uh, And I think that I would be doing actually a great disservice if I were to try to break down just either one motherhood, our health, our mental health in this one segment and say, this is what you need to do, this is what we need to do. But I have been able to listen to a lot of the different parts of the conversation and I realized something, a couple of things, but I will say this. When it comes to health, there is a huge part of our health that we need to take absolute autonomical control over, as down to the last minute research detail. I know that we are being finessed at a great, all women, not just Black African American women, we're being finessed by doctors to um, take some drugs or just do this or do that, and there's just a magical potion pill that's going to make all our problems go away. And it is actually extremely more complicated than that. And I don't want to say that you shouldn't trust your doctors or you shouldn't trust people in the medical health profession because they are there to do their job. But they're also under a lot of pressure to see people and to push an agenda most times that does not necessarily serve the patients, mostly serves the pharmaceutical industries. I hate discussing these kinds of political issues on YouTube, therefore, I'm going to stop right there. But I can give you several anecdotal experiences that I have personally had that has taken me to a place where I had to really start to rethink the way I view my personal health and do my own research and shop around for a doctor that's on the same thing, the same wavelength that I am, and really start to consider the fact that my health is my responsibility, nobody else's. And it comes down to something that we have been knowing for the beginning of time, yet somehow in the middle of all of this political jargon and the overlapping of racism and patriarchy and all of the buzzwords that we're hearing, that these things no longer make sense, but they are the foundation of good health, exercise, good food, and great and a happy, healthy disposition is the key to being healthier. Now, we cannot change because I know people are going to come and talk about bone density and about their experiences or being given wrong medication. Just live a life that is healthy enough that you should know that going to the doctor should be the absolute last result. Make sure that you're healthy enough to not have to go to the doctor at all. Now, how are you going to know if you're healthy or not, Hannah? Because you're not supposed to go to the doctor. I mean, doctors don't study nutrition. So that is a separate and completely different field. And I know a lot of people are, there's a lot of discussion right now going on about whether or not they should, because obviously, if you're fueling your body with certain things that are not actually fueling the body with the energy that it needs, or something has gone wrong, then you need to know what it is you need to stop eating or start eating to fix that issue. I think that should be common sense, right? Hey, and if you have a breakdown in your health that is as of a direct result of the things that you have eaten or not eating. And eating is also extremely cultural. Just like the hair, women do not want to be sitting around here eating no damn salad for lunch or supper. Now, let me just say, as a person who has had a salad for supper, it is not the same as having meat with every meal or having a big meal every time I sit down to eat. But there is different kinds of results when you eat different kinds of foods in terms of how you feel, your productivity, and how your body fights off diseases like diabetes and like all the other stuff that we are so notorious for forgetting forgetting. So this is something that I think we need to start to pay extremely more attention to because it is becoming extremely um it's becoming more and more extremely concerning and alarming for people in general. I mean, if we want to talk about the female mortality rate, I think I already did that. I'm not sure if I got into as much details because I know a lot of people were talking about Serena Williams and Beyonce. I don't talk about celebrities on my YouTube channel. I will, however, say that when I had my children, I was being given mixed information about the kinds of vitamins, supplements I was supposed to be taking. And I did my own research. Listen again, ladies. I did my own research and found out that the whole reason women take supplements is because there was definitely a time not too long ago where people were malnourished or deficient in certain vitamins when they got pregnant because the child fetus sucks out some of the nutrients from the mother, and the mother needs these nutrients for her to live as well. So that is how maternity supplements have come about. If you are eating a proper diet and you're giving yourself and you're taking supplements on top of that, because of the delicate balance of pregnancy, you can be over supplementing yourself, which causes a plethora of different reactions, right? We talked about actions and opposite reactions. What happened with me? Now, I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to diagnose anybody. I'm just saying you need to do your research. What I found out with my second pregnancy is that I had too much iron, and iron was a huge concern of mine because I have had anemia in the past. I ended up having too much iron, which made my blood thicken, which made my veins in my legs swell up and my feet swell up, and I needed these compression socks. And so what I did, because I had an awesome midwife who was extremely open-minded and very alternative and had delivered like thousands of babies, what my midwife said to me was, maybe you need to stop taking this iron supplement and take a minimal supplement for these specific things that you may need. And so I switched out from my supplement and took that instead, and all of those issues went away. Um, my other doctor was the one who gave me one thing after another thing. Okay, my blood is now thickening, so now I need compression socks. Instead of telling me, okay, this is why this is happening because of this medication. So, these things happen. Medicine is a practice. It's not an exact science because of the plethora of different open reactions that are possible to happen to us. And while we want to entrust everything to our doctors, there is a huge level of responsibility that falls on the patient that we need to start to be more cognizant of and responsible of. And anybody can do that in this day and age. There is no need for us to not know what's going on with our bodies because we have the internet. And on the internet, we have loads and loads and loads of information that we can decipher through and start to see whether or not it applies to our situation and shop around for different opinions when it comes to what other doctors are saying about some of the issues that we're experiencing. One of the issues that I find is extremely disturbing to me when it comes to people of Black African descent and Black women in particular is that we tend to want to talk too much about why the situation is as bad as it is instead of focusing on how we can fix the issues that are in our communities and in our lives. We're carrying a lot of stress because we want to do everything by ourselves. I'm going to get shot for this. That's why I'm saying it at minute 28. We want to carry everything by ourselves. Therefore, we're having these babies by ourselves. Therefore, when we get to the height of our pregnancy and we're going into labor and we realize, oh, snap, I can't do this by myself. I need somebody here. I need someone who is not having this baby to tell the doctor X, Y, or Z. And since most of us, 85, 72% of us will be single mothers, we go into these situations extremely stressed because we are unprotected in our situations. Oh, he walked out. Oh, he wasn't about that life. Well, you know what, ladies? We need to start to get into better situations with our men so that they want to be there, regardless of what is going on between him and us. He needs to be there for that delicate, vulnerable stage in our lives. If we can be humble enough to accept that being pregnant and in labor is a very delicate and vulnerable stage in our lives. Also, I feel like I have talked extremely long on this topic. I still have not covered sex and sexuality and body count. So I will see you guys in the next one. Please make sure to stay safe and stay free and stay tuned.